Hello, I'm Yusuf. Um, the assumption this time that I want to talk about is language learners should only be exposed to the forms that they are taught by the teachers. Um, for a second, when you hear this, you might think, no, of course not. Students should always be exposed to different forms so they would be familiar with them, so they would be more familiar with the language itself, and so they would probably encourage themselves to read and um, watch movies in that language, or probably expose themselves more to this language. But the problem is, if you think about it as a teacher, if you would teach someone, if you teach your students a certain formula or certain, let's say, grammatical structure, and then you would try to take any random example that would happen to contain that grammar or that structure, they might be confused and they might feel like they don't have any progress because that example probably has some form of complex vocabulary, or probably has a lot of, the sentence itself has a lot of extenders, and they might actually think to themselves, we don't understand what this rule is about, we don't know what this form is about. So what I think is, what teachers should do when they expose their students gradually to these structures is that, for example, using scaffolding, you're showing a model of the structure that you want to teach, or maybe the grammar, the grammar rule that you want to teach. And then there's the guided practice, of course, where they have to probably just fill in blanks or match points. And then there is the discussion part. Well, after the discussion part, um, you may actually have a, let's say, a certain topic that they ask, that they have to answer questions about, or maybe they have to talk to each other about. But after this, um, when they go home, the learning process doesn't stop there. They have to go home and they have to look up some facts online, and they have to look up some resources online. And here they are exposed to structures that you specifically haven't taught them. So here, they should always be familiar with these structures. They should always be familiar with the application of what you teach them in the real world. And that's why it's very important to give students an idea that what's happening here in class is helping you or preparing you to what's happening outside. Meaning that you have to go online and you have to look for resources or articles or books or movies, and you will try to find the relationship between what you learned and what is happening, in these forms of language. So they can bring this maybe, into the class, like after they did their research through, let's say, an article or like something online, a movie or something. They would just come to class and start talking about it, and they will be using these new forms themselves. So that's what I think about the sentence. It's important to teach the form. It's important to expose them to like a beginner level form, but at the same time, it's essential to expose the students to what's happening outside the classroom. Thank you.